Okay, so this is just to take you briefly over what could be new and what will be some changes to come as time goes. My name is Kevin Kamanga, connecting with you from Nairobi, Kenya. Okay, I know maybe some of you know Nairobi, some don't know. Capital city of the country, Kenya, of course, in Africa. Okay, so I'll just be taking you through this. This is just a photo of the way I look. Don't mind the stare. It just comes with the photo, right? So, yeah, let's get into it. Now, we have Prince2, and looking at Prince2, the version 6 or the sixth edition talks about four integrated elements: the principles, the themes, processes, and project context. Now, moving over to Prince2's seventh edition, we are now talking about five integrated elements from the four, and the addition element in this case would be the people. All right, so that's a new element that has been added. However, we cannot forget or refuse to acknowledge that the change, right? Here, we used to have themes, but now we are talking about practices. So that's also another change that can be seen in the seventh edition. So take a note of that. And of course, the important part is the addition of the people's element. Okay. Now, um, Prince2's sixth edition is talking about aspects to be managed, and we all know about aspects that are there to be managed in a project. As a project manager, you're meant to control and manage your project, and these six aspects is what over the years in Prince2 we have talked about. You know, the benefit, the quality, the costing, scope, time, and of course risk. Okay, now seventh edition, right? Benefit is still there, quality still there, cost, scope, time, risk, all inclusive. Now, the addition, basically, we now talking about an aspect called sustainability, right? This is new. So this is a change that is there. So anyone now getting to study, do exams for Prince2, they will now talk about seven aspects, okay, including sustainability, right? Now, here we have practices, right? Now, as we said, or as we have seen, we now call them practices. Back then, we used to call them themes, right? So, the sixth edition is talking about the business case, organization, quality, plans, risk, change, progress. So, we used to call them the themes. And of course, there were seven of them, all right? Now, seventh edition of Prince2 has a difference in terms of one, the wording. We are now talking about organizing instead of organization, and we are now talking about issues instead of change. Right? So that's a note for you, right? So when you're talking about the Prince2's practices moving forward to the seventh edition, we are now talking about organizing instead of organization, and we're talking about issues instead of change. Okay, so I hope you note that so that moving forward we know what to expect. Now, we also have the principles. Okay, Prince2 sixth edition is talking about the principles, and again there were seven: learn from experience, continued business justification, define roles and responsibility, manage by stages, manage by exception, focus on product, and tailor to suit the project. Now, seventh edition, we come here. Seventh edition is talking about ensure continued business justification, learn from experience, still intact. Now, the other thing to look at is this principle: define roles, responsibility, and relationships. Okay, remember the addition element is the people. And of course, you cannot have people without considering and thinking about relationships. So the change in the principles, we have defined roles, responsibility, and relationships. Okay. Then of course, manage by exception still stands, manage by stages, focus on product, and tailor to suit the project. All right. Now, we have management approaches. The project manager in Prince2, the approaches that are there to guide you as you deal or run your project. The sixth edition was talking about quality management approach, change control approach, risk management approach, communication management approach, and benefits management approach. Now, moving forward towards the seventh edition, here we are talking about benefit management approach, still maintained. Change management approach, commercial, that is new. Commercial management approach, communication management approach is still maintained. Then you have digital and data management approach. I think one of the major changes that has come with technology, we are talking about AI today, big data, machine learning is all about a digital transformation. And the digital and data management approach basically looks at all this. Then we have the issue management approach, quality risk management approach still intact, and finally we also have the sustainability management approach, which is also new. So you can see the new management approaches that have been brought on board. Right now, this basically says or puts us in a place that talks about what is new and what we need to understand. So anyone who is dealing or anyone who is looking at sitting Prince2, then we need to look at you having going through the seventh edition, basically because it is the current edition that we want to get into. So of course, um, this is just a brief to just a little insight on what has changed so that anyone who had a query could at least have something that they can have an overview of what has changed, right? So again, my name is Kevin Kamanga, and in case of any query, suggestion, or inquiry that you might have, always you can always feel free to come back to me. Now, I hope this has been informative for you, and I want to thank you for viewing.